Let's check a little bit of beef tallow. All of these bowls are from a batch that's been rendered twice now. So we're going to cut them open and see what they look like on the inside. And pretty much how the knife went in, I could tell this was not ready. So it's still soft in the middle and it has this grittiness to it. So while it looks pretty good, I want you to pay attention to this part. This grittiness, this texture right here is what we don't want in our tallow. This grittiness can be caused by two different things, either water or impurity still in the tallow or temperature. And these were all cooled in the refrigerator right after rendering. So I know it's very unlikely to be a temperature issue, and in fact there's still water in this tallow, or some other impurity. As you can see in this one, there's still broth left in that bowl. So typically the tallow is going to separate to the top and the water is going to sink down to the bottom. But as the tallow cools, oftentimes there's still impurities or water in there that is going to kind of sit in the middle and get trapped as that tallow cools into this cake. And that's why we continue to render, so we can make sure that this is completely pure. And I always have people asking if this is something that I do differently for cooking tallow versus tallow that I'm going to use for skincare. And the answer for me is no, I don't do those any differently. Because my purpose is to render tallow pure so that it is shelf stable, no matter what I'm going to be using it for. If I'm going to put all of this time and effort into rendering tallow, which if you've ever done it, you know it's a time-consuming process, especially when you're working with larger quantities like this, then I'm going to ensure that it is going to have the full 1-year shelf life. And the only way to do that is to render it pure and be sure that there is no water left in this and no impurities. That way, no matter what I'm going to use it for, whether it's sitting in a bucket in my pantry or in a jar on a shelf for cooking tallow, or it's already processed into a skincare product, I can be sure that I get that full 1-year shelf life. Like any other fat, any oil you have in your pantry, any fat-based product that does not have a preservative in it, these are going to last about a year or so before they start going rancid. And you can extend that with refrigeration or freezing. And yes, I also pressure can tallow, or I have done it in the past. And that's considered rebel canning, but call me a rebel if you will.